Welcome back to the Lumbertron podcast. Today's guest is David Fen, a craftsman and leader in the Mankind Project. Together, in his eclectic Seattle workshop, we went through his story one step at a time, from becoming a professional furniture maker to discovering men's work and growing as a leader in the Mankind Project community. Let's dive into it. My guest today is David Fen. David, thank you for taking the time. It's an honor to be in your amazing workspace.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. So, like I said I was going to ask, David Fen, who are you?
I'm a 64-year-old married man. I'm a cabinet maker and furniture designer, and I live and work in Seattle, Washington. I'm the oldest of 4 children. I am happily married, and I enjoy what I do. Yeah.
So have you always been drawn to creating things with your hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was given a lot of encouragement when I was in high school and junior high to pursue that direction, and I did.
Parents and peers alike?
Parents, teachers,
yeah.
some friends, but it was just like a solo quest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're able to build upon that, and so today you say you make cabinets.
Cabinets and furniture.
Cabinets and furniture.
Anything.
What does that entail?
Anything that requires handwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
anything.
Wood, any other materials?
Glass. Steel. Plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of different things.
Did you have any kind of, professional instruction in said art, or have you kind of learned this through your own building?
Both.
Yeah.
When I graduated from college, a couple of the professors, or one professor that I worked under, plus his business partner, they encouraged me to join their business.
Mm-hmm.
And they were starting a cabinet making shop at that time. And my area of expertise was two-dimensional art, and I really felt very weak in three-dimensional things. And so I wanted to round out my hand skills package, and so I looked at it as a challenge.
Yeah.
And took that on, and I've just been doing it ever since.
So your background was in 2D art, kind of like a engineering drafting. It
was photography, drawing, printmaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that served you going forward into this 3D kind of like building out things? Do you touch on those skills at all anymore?
Rarely.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the thing that stuck with me the most is that I can recognize something that's really good.
Yeah, you've got.
I just have a visceral response to it, and for that I am extremely grateful. But what I studied really doesn't come into play much right now. It's in a technical sense. There really isn't any knowledge transfer. Yeah.
So where does the majority of your designs and the things that you build, are they requested by other people? Do you design your own things to sell, or is it kind of like a project basis?
This is a custom made to order.
Custom to order.
Shop, and I don't carry inventory. People hear about me, or they've worked with me before, and they call me and they say, "We want this. Can you do it?" And usually I say I can. If I can't, I'll try to send them someplace that I know can handle it much better than I can. It doesn't happen often, but it does. It does happen. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of working with clients that you've kind of like built up over the years.
Yeah.
You have like a large base of people that you
Right.
recurringly make things for.
Right. It's the word that people use these days is bespoke.
Bespoke.
Right. And are you familiar with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
the handmade with intention.
Right.
Kind of,
Usually it's applied to the clothing and apparel industry, but it fits in a lot of different fields beyond making custom suits for men.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Nice. I see something special in the space. It's very, very lived in. It's very
Worked in.
Worked in, yeah. There's nothing like a messy workshop to really speak to someone's enthusiasm and passion about something that I see. It's very exciting being in this space. How long have you been in this particular area? Have you had other workshops? Do you work anywhere else?
Oh, in this space, I've been probably 7 or 8 years, maybe, 2019, probably 8 years plus or minus.
Yeah.
And before that, I was in South Lake Union for a long time. And I really enjoyed being down there.
Yeah.
That was before it became Amazonville. And when I first moved into that space in '93, there must have been 18 to 24 cabinet shops and workshops in South Lake Union.
Yeah.
And when I moved out, whenever that was in 2007 or 8, I was the last one.
You were the last one to
leave.
leave.
Was the last one.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
It was just before they built that Whole Foods.
And that was the end of it all.
Across from Denny Park. Well, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, the beginning of the end, and then it was just Amazon from here on out.
Yeah.
Wow. So what did you see that everyone leaving and see that kind of gentrification of the area, or did you move because of that, or did you?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to move because I just felt like I had to move on my schedule rather than move on somebody else's, because if I had to move on somebody else's schedule, the time frame was going to be much more compressed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't probably going to be to my liking. You know, I might have to move projects. It would have been a mess. But as it was, my wife saw this on Craigslist, and she said, "You've got to look at this." And when I first looked at it, I thought, "Gosh, it's so small."
Yeah.
Because I had probably twice as
more
much
space.
And but it's 20 minutes from our house by bicycle, and I don't have to go into town. I don't have to take a whole lot of arterial streets to get here. And so I thought, okay, we'll make it work. And I have. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got it's close to home.
Yep.
Working with the space you have.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you've got it made. You've got your own space. You've got clients. You're building things. It sounds like everything's perfect.
Well, no, I want to correct that. I can do what I want. I don't have it made. So there's a distinction to be made there. Yeah. I've got it pretty good. I mean, I can be fairly independent here.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult. It's challenging.
Yeah. How have you struggled being a cabinet maker?
I'm not a natural business person. I'm not even I wasn't even a natural craftsman when I started out. So I had to learn how to do both, and it's a very slow process. And the more I learn, the more I know what I don't know, and it just sort of it funnels out. And the way I've learned how to deal with that is to minimize my expectations now at this stage of my life. Is that I need to accept the fact that I'm not going to be able to do everything or know everything, and to let a lot of that go. And so that contributes to my sense of well-being as well. Really, it does. It really does. As a young man, it's different. I want it all now. But now I'm 64, my time is limited, so I have to make some intelligent decisions from here on out.
Yeah, realism.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, shifting gears, as you see, you have to make intelligent decisions. You have less time. Do you? What kind of outlets do you have for kind of being in community and helping others? Mankind Project, is that something that you have always been deeply involved with? Is that something that is new in your life?
I've actually done it since 2004.
Since 2004.
Yeah, and I've been involved in men's work since 96, 97, something like that. And it's been very satisfying.
So how did you find this concept of men's work? What was going on in your life when you ran?
That's what it was. And an ex-girlfriend knew about my challenges and difficulties with this heartbreak, and she said, why don't you join a men's group? And so I looked into it and found one that was meeting on a regular basis in Edmonds, Washington. I think they still exist. And so I started with that group and stayed with it 96 to 2003. This was for like 7 years. I stayed with it for 7 years, and a lot of the men from that group had migrated to the Mankind Project, and so sometimes they would go back and forth. And I heard about the Mankind Project, and I was lucky enough to attend a shadow work facilitation weekend with a very good facilitator. This was just after 9/11 in November of 2001, and I was astonished at what could happen in one of those weekends. I was really taken, and I promised a couple of men that one day I would do the initiation weekend, and in 2004 I did it.
Yeah,
I did that. There was nothing, in 2004 there was nothing going on in my life that I was struggling with. It was just that I made a promise to two men that I would do it, and I wanted to fulfill that commitment, and that's why I did it.
So you weren't struggling, but how did that impact you going through that weekend for the Mankind Project? Was it still a powerful experience? Did it change in any way?
To be honest with you, the first men's group that I was a part of was kind of a hybrid. So I went through a weekend kind of like that, a light weekend like that, with them. So I kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
For my weekend, I still had a blast on that weekend, and I have to say I've met some of the most interesting men I have ever met since then. Really powerful, moving stories, experiences, and life sharing.
Yeah. So, for the sake of others listening, I mean, I don't want to try to have you speak for MKP, but what is MKP to you, in your words? How would you describe the Mankind Project?
I would say that it's about men connecting with other men, men feeling safe around other men to share their innermost thoughts and fears and triumphs, and challenges. Yeah. And also, for me, one of the greatest gifts that I ever gave to myself was creating my own mentor group. This is usually not recommended until you get on Leader Tracker, until you're ready to sit to certify. And I did it well in advance of that. And my main mentor is the man that I went to sort of participate with in that shadow work facilitation weekend in 2001. He was very impressive.
Yeah.
His name is Martin Lazoff. and that just blew me away. And so when it came time to create this mentor court, I wanted to gather a group of men that I could depend on. See, I'm the oldest in my family, so I always wanted an older brother.
Okay.
And I kind of made the connection that that's what this mentor court was going to be about, was a series of older brothers who were very different, who could give me guidance and mentor me, not only with the Mankind Project, but with other challenging issues. Most of the mentoring now has to do with the Mankind Project, but I still go to them with different challenges that I face.
You can just bring whatever you got going on.
So, to get 3 or 4 mentors like that is I did that myself, and it's just been great. There's so much support there, and now that I think about it, one of my mentors is younger than I am. And one of the things that I had a great deal of regret about in my growing up was that I wasn't a better older brother. And I've been trying to sort of heal that one for 40 years with my siblings. And having a mentor who is younger than I am is really critical to that healing, because I take him seriously. I believe that he knows more than I probably ever will about the Mankind Project. But every time we connect, it's like I am denying that original behavior pattern.
Yeah, you're addressing that shadow.
Absolutely. So that's a really healthy thing for me is to be reminded all the time that I am capable of this.
Yeah, to just strengthen that pathway.
Yeah.
So we mentioned shadow work.
Yeah.
Can you touch on exactly what that is?
It's a method of processing a man, and some people might call it psychodrama, in a limited amount of time, with very little in the way of accoutrements or props. Very simple sort of approach
one-on-one.
Well, it can be done one-on-one, it can be done in a group.
But no tools, essentially, just words. Very few props.
Yeah, it's really hard to describe without seeing it, because if somebody, I imagine myself, if somebody who was expert at that came to me before I had ever seen it, and they tried to explain to me what happened, I go, what? It doesn't. You have to see it to believe it, and it's not like therapy. That's very clear. It's not a substitute. What it is, it's an opportunity for a participant in one of those processes to take a look at what's not working for him in his life or her life, and it's up to them whether they want to take action to change that. But it's an unusual. It's like theater, piece of theater that one can either facilitate or participate in, or just witness.
And there's healing to be done in witnessing that as well.
Right. And it's not like we can get a group of people and just do it like here. There has to be some setup for it, some trust building, and some time to let things sort of develop where the sense of collective trust grows to the point where some good can come out of it. Because without that trust, it'll fall flat.
In MKP is kind of like building those containers in the form of
containers
circles.
of trust. Yeah, I would say that's another thing that MKP teaches, is how to develop and trust, how to develop and build those containers of trust and maintain them over time.
Yeah. And so what has that track taken you through MKP? Where do you sit now in MKP compared to where you are now?
I'm a certified co-leader. I'm qualified to help lead these events anywhere in the world. And that's a specialized track of leadership that I began probably 2007, 2008, and I did not go the fast way. I was certified in, I think, 2016 or 2017. 2016. So it took me about 9 or 10 years to do it. And some men go faster than that. It's just that I wanted to keep some work-life MKP balance.
Yeah.
And
you feel like you've got a healthy hand on that? And you don't live MKP?
Most of the time. My wife would beg to differ on that. I try really hard. And I think I've done better than a lot of men. A lot of men who go fast, they burn out. And I think I'm pretty solid, and I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah. You see the value.
Yeah.
The value in going through these weekends and what it does for other men. So, what's next for you and MKP? Is there anything out of the ordinary, anything upcoming?
What's next? I don't see anything on the horizon. What I'd like to do is help others and support others in realizing their potential in the Mankind Project. I'm thinking specifically of the work that's being done now in the prisons, and also on the indigenous First Peoples reservations.
And what kind of work is that? Just bringing the...
Well, we're going to have the first native NWTA on the Pine Ridge reservation in South Dakota in a week. And it's called the All Nations NWTA. And as I understand it, the local men and women there requested that this NWTA be represented by all of the major races. The black, the white, the red, and the yellow. So men from all of those ethnic groups will gather
together to
at Pine Ridge and will staff this NWTA. But I think that prisons and indigenous NWTAs are where this work needs to go. I mean, in this country.
Definitely. MKP, they represents how many countries? Is it worldwide?
It's worldwide.
Big organization.
I don't know how many centers there are, but it's they're getting started in India now. Africa, it's expanding in Africa. It's all over Western Europe. I think it's going to be a while before they get to Asia and do anything in Asia. There's somebody that's trying to get one going in Japan, but I'm talking about penetration like into Southeast Asia. The only reason I think why they're in India is because English is the co-national language, so communication is very easy.
Yeah, you're able to actually bring the message along.
But I think one of the weaknesses in MKP leadership is that there are very few multilingual or bilingual certified leaders, at least in the United States.
Yeah.
Now that's changing with Mexico coming online as an independent center. A lot of them are bilingual at least, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big advocate for that.
In the NWTA this week, is that done all around the world? Is it the same experience, more or less, or?
I've only staffed out of center or out of country in Canada, so I can't speak to that. I'm not sure how. I would say in general it's the same. but we're changing
Without
some
being
things.
there, then we don't know for sure.
Yeah, we're changing some things for this native weekend
Mm-hmm.
to fit and to be culturally appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a tightrope walk right there, because the full leader, Henry Thurman, is a consummate diplomat, and he's trying to make sure that his obligations to the Mankind Project are being met, and also the local people are getting what they want. And it's not easy. It's easier said than done, and I think he's doing a great job.
Mm. I imagine this has been a long time in the making. Then a lot of.
Yeah, they've been working on it for maybe a decade to make sure that they get an official New Warrior Training Adventure.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So from then on, it's just the routine of staffing NWTAs, going forward for yourself. Do you see yourself becoming more of a mentor role?
I'm already.
Yeah, you're already stepping into that mentorship.
Yeah. I'm mentoring several men. Right, take a lot of energy. I'm surprised at how much energy that requires. But men did it for me. And so that's the least that I can do. And it's interesting too. I mean, I'm like you. I'm really interested, very curious about hearing other stories, and don't feel really all that moved to tell my own. I mean, I could just listen to others, and so being a mentor like this, it's about the mentee. It really isn't about me at that point, and so I just do a lot of listening and try to pick up consistencies and inconsistencies and point them out.
Strengthen the men they already are, as opposed to trying to change them.
It may require that at some point.
Yeah.
I haven't run into it yet. I think that is part of the responsibility, definitely, but it's more of the former.
Yeah.
Which is just guide them lightly.
Yeah.
Right now.
Just kind of.
Yeah.
It's the leadership path that you spoke of as well. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's. How long has this been going on in your life? The mentorship. Is it relatively new?
Well, it's picked up pretty good in the last 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And the men that my mentors tell me that they are not surprised that other men have sort of gotten my attention, or that they've sort of resonated with me and felt like I had something to offer to them. So that's nice to hear. But it's not for the faint of heart or people who have little time to spare. I mean, it's a very sort of focused activity that requires a lot of investment and some serious listening. Serious listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess kind of wrapping up. Who is the Mankind Project for? Would you recommend that anyone, any kind of man, check out the Mankind Project? Would you? What should people expect to get out of coming into something like this NWTA training, or just even sitting in circle with other men?
The Mankind Project and the New Warrior Training Adventure can be transformational, and I would not recommend it for everybody. I would recommend that everyone consider it.
Yeah.
But it is it can be psychologically demanding for a concentrated period of time.
Yeah.
Most of the men that come out of that weekend feel like it's been time extremely well spent. And I hope that they have a similar experience to mine is that they will encounter some of the most interesting men that they'll ever meet.
Yeah.
You know? And that for me, that continues to happen. You know?
So would you say your life is richer
for
definitely.
Going through it? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I tend to be a loner. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to work by myself. But, it's just constantly changing. And I get to observe group dynamics and individuals sort of evolve over a period of time if we stay in touch and contact for a long
you see
time.
The growth.
How they change. Yeah.
Awesome. It sounds very rewarding. Where can people find more information about this mysterious MKP?
This mysterious MKP.
Yeah.
MKP.org. That's one place. I would say that's probably the best place to go cold. The next best place is to talk to someone who's already been through the weekend and is initiated. Another way is through an event called Circles of Men. That is a free, no obligation event that we do prior to each of our training adventures, probably 5 weeks in advance. And Circles of Men, they could contact me if they wanted to find out more about the Circles of Men. There's one, let me see, there's one coming up on the 27th of April, which is the weekend that I'll be away. But they're held in the Seattle area. And there is a capacity. I mean, there is an upper limit, so it closes out once that limit's, I think it's 12 to 14 men or something like that. And it's an all-day event, and lunch is included. There are open integration groups where men are invited to come as guests to see how we continue to encourage and support each other on a regular basis.
And to find out information about that, just kind of have to reach out to men in the project, or are there resources on the website to find those groups?
They could contact me. They can contact me.
Contact David. He'll be your segue into
right. Yeah. Or let's see. I think it's northwestwarrior.org. That would be a good place to go. There are workshops that we offer periodically, and those are all there on the site. And there's probably a webmaster of some kind that you can contact or send questions to.
So search it out online. Contact David. Either way, someone will find you.
Right.
Find information.
Right.
And what about yourself? How can people get in contact with you? Do you have a website? Do you advertise your work?
Oh, yeah. It's www.davidfen.com. I have a landline here.
Nice.
That's on, I think the number's on my site. I think if you Google my name, it comes up pretty quickly. I'm on Yelp. So,
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's really all I can think of right at the moment, David.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
It's been a wonderful.
Come back.
Yeah. And that was my talk with David Fen. Handcrafting furniture and building the foundation for better men. If you enjoyed our interview or have anything to say, please reach out to lumbertronic@gmail.com. And until next time, keep sharing your story.